How's it going, everyone? Pop-Tart here. Welcome back to the Aeroteam channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build the Stewart Stevenson GT-1628 Pushback Tug in 1.5:1 scale. Now, there are many different types of pushback tractors. Larger, more powerful tow-barless tugs will clamp onto and lift the nose wheel of the aircraft to be able to move even the heaviest wide bodies. The GT-1628 here is a smaller tug that uses a tow bar to connect to the nose wheel. This is the type of tug you'd most often see moving mid-sized aircraft at a regional airport or something of the like. I'll be building it first on its own here, but at the end of the video I will also be showing you how to add on the tow bar and connect this to an aircraft for pushback if you'd like to add some action and life to an airport diorama or something. This will be our third airport vehicle on the channel, in addition to our TLD NBL boutloader and mine's Dulcatus catering truck. Well, fourth airport vehicle technically behind the Oshkosh Striker fire truck as well, but I'm talking GSE here. Well, that's all well and good for service to the aircraft, but what's the use of that when you can't even get out of the gate? This will make a very useful addition to our ever-growing fleet, perfect for spicing up airports and giving a dynamic life to otherwise static aircraft. Before we carry on, I would like to give quick credit to Aeroteam member War Ellis for the design here. He did a fantastic job capturing the details of such a small vehicle, as he always does, so big thanks to him for this. Now, before we get started, as always, this build does make use of our very own custom Aeroteam texture pack. A download link to version 2 of this pack can be found in the description below if you don't have it already. Now, if you are stuck using the default pack, if you're following along on console or something, I will do my best to show you how to go about building this in default, but please do keep in mind that I highly recommend using the Aeroteam pack instead if you can, as it'll look much better. Anyways, with that all out of the way, let's get going on this tutorial. Alright, so, if you've watched any of our other tutorials in the past, you'd know that I usually like to start off with a quick rundown of the dimensions, just to help make sure that you have enough room. Now, since this is so tiny, it really doesn't matter as much as it would on a larger aircraft, but just for old time's sake, here's some numbers for you. This tug is 9 blocks long, counting the buttons at the front and rear for the tow connections. The width is 5 blocks, again counting the details on the side, and its total height is 3 blocks from the base to the detailing on the top layer there. And that's about it. And with all that, we're going to be starting right off here with layer 1. So the first thing we're going to be doing for layer 1 of the tug here is starting off with a purpose stair facing backwards. Now in the Aeroteam pack here, as well if you've watched any of our other tutorials you'll be familiar with this, so the purpose stairs and slabs here in the Aeroteam pack are the wool material, and I'll be referring to these as the wool stairs and slabs. This will couple with, of course, the wool block here, as you can see. This is what we're using here in the Aeroteam pack for white colorations like this. Now, if you are in default and trying to follow along there, you'll probably want to use quartz as an alternative. That's the closest you'll get. But in the Aeroteam pack here, this is a much nicer color to use. So, we have our wool stair facing backwards right here. Now, it's important to note that if you are building this tug connected to an aircraft, pushing it back or whatever, for the space for the tow rod, you'll want a space of 7 blocks between it and the nose wheel here. So this is the very front of the tug, as you can see here. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 right here. This being the nose wheel of the aircraft you're trying to connect this to. And that'll give you the right space you need for the tow bar to come in later. So just make sure that you keep that space in mind. If you are building this separate though, of course that doesn't matter. You'll just have this on display wherever, or parked at the airport, or whatever you're using this for. So, this is what we have now. So now that we have that very first block in place there, what we're going to be doing is, starting in front of it here, we're going to grab a birch button and place a button right there on its front. Now this is going to be for a yellow connection point where the tow bar actually connects into the tug right there, so that sticks out at the front. That's the detail you want there. Now on the right side here, we're going to have a wool stair facing out to the side, like this, and then a wool half slab on the left side here. Now what you're also going to want is for this stair right here, that's facing out to the side, to not corner off. Now if you are in vanilla and don't have access to world edit, you can probably just leave it as it is, but we can actually make this a bit nicer here. So the first thing we're going to do is drop a solid block of wool behind it, just to get that block update out of the way. The next thing we're going to do is place a wool stair just anywhere, away from the build, facing out to the right side here. Grab a stick or any item you want, and type /repl0 to switch this over to the replace tool. Select by left-clicking and paste over by right-clicking, just like that. That'll give you this nice shape curvature right here. So, now that we have that, kind of the front section is done and out of the way there, what we're going to have behind this now is a block of black wool there, and then a block of wool on the left, just like this. Now behind this all here, to start off the wheels, we're going to have a row of 3 black wool across the back right there, and then just one going back in the center. Now to either side of the row of 3 here, we're going to grab the jungle button and place that out to the right and left, right here, out to either side. That'll give this white rim for the quite large wheels on this tug here. So that's what you're looking for there. Now in the Aeroteam pack, as you can see here, this is a wool texture. And in default, the jungle button's going to be very much not white like this. So the closest you're going to get there is probably going to be a stone button. That's what you're going to want to use instead of a wood texture. So, but that's what we're using here in the Aeroteam pack. Now that we have that, we're going to come to this black wool right here, place a block of wool behind it right here, and one more out to either side, like this. Then back from it here, we're just going to have a single black wool full block right there, and then a row of 3 across the back right here. Actually, scratch that, just a single block of white wool in the center there, then black wool out to either side. So this is because it's actually the back of the tug right here, so we want that block of white wool showing there in the center, which wasn't the case at the front wheel section, so that's what's going on here. Then kind of the same deal as the front wheels here, out to either side a jungle button right there to finish off the rims. Now, what we're doing for the wheel design here is, as you can see, this is kind of a 1.5 by 1.5 wheel design that War has put together for this. So we're going to grab a Dead Brain coral fan for this. And in the Aeroteam pack here, as you can see, this is a white wool vertical slab. This is the perfect kind of thing that we're using here to kind of give just half a block of that black wool showing there. So basically what we're going to be doing for this is out to either side, well, from the front and back of this block of wool there, we're going to have a Dead Brain coral fan to the rear and front, like this. That'll fill in the sides here while still letting half a block exactly of that black wool show through there, making the tires a bit larger than they would be otherwise, and capturing that look perfectly. Now, if you are in default, I suppose you can try, you can just use a full block instead and have the wheels be a bit tall. I was going to suggest using an iron trapdoor closed against the sides, but that would probably be too wide, actually, come to think of it. So this is probably going to be your best bet there in default, but this does make for a much nicer design if you can use the vertical slabs here. So, same thing on the right side, like that. And to finish off the detailing, we're going to grab a stone button and place that out to either side of the white wool blocks there. And to finish off the detailing on the rear, we're going to grab the birch button once more, place that going back from the wool block right here. Same as we did up front, it's the same little clip design on the real world tug. And then behind each of these black wool blocks here for the tires, we're going to have a birch trapdoor closed against the rear. Yet again, another texture pack note here, so in the Aeroteam pack here, the birch trapdoor is a wool texture, as you can see here. In default, just use an iron trapdoor to give kind of the same white texture, but yeah, that's what's going on here. And that is everything for layer 1. Alright, so for layer 2 of the tug here, we're going to be starting right on top of these 2 white wool blocks right here, towards the front, with 2 wool stairs facing forwards, like this. Next, we're going to have a row of 3 wool blocks across the back, like so. Then we'll take the center one 4 blocks back. So we already have 1 here already. This will be 2, 3, and 4, like so. And we'll leave it at that for now. Continuing on here though, the next thing we're going to do is grab an acacia sign and place this right there on the front of that long row here. So in the Aeroteam pack here, this is a black wool sign texture. In default, just use a dark oak sign for a darker texture like this. But this is going to be the back of the driver's seat right here. That's what all of this is replicating here. Now, in front of this here, on top of this wool stair right there, we're going to have an end stone brick slab right here. This is going to be the steering wheel for the tug here. Now that we have that, on the right side here, we're going to grab a birch fence, place that on top of the stair right there, and we're also going to use a bit of world edit for this here. So this is for a yellow handrail that kind of connects across the right side right here. And to connect this off more realistically to the actual tug, what we're going to do is just place down a fence just anywhere, then one more going back from it here to give you something looking like this. We're going to use World Edit again to select that front fence right there, clear all that away, and paste over like this. And that'll get that to connect in towards the rear, connecting with that stair there, and giving the curvature that the real handrail has. Perfect. Now that we have that, we just have one last World Edit trick for this. And again, if you are without World Edit on console or in survival or something without commands, it's not too crucial of a detail, but I do definitely recommend it, as with all of our other details like this, if you can, as it just adds so much more to the finished design. So, on the left side here, what we're going to be doing is grabbing a torch, which for some reason I don't have in my inventory. Here we go. This is going to go right in here on the front face of that stair. So, temporary block in front, torch, select, and paste. Perfect. Have to give that a lighting update here, it looks like. This is for the lights on the left side of the tug right here. Again, accurate to the real-life design. So, going back from this here, actually my mistake, we're going to be clearing out this block of wool going back from both of those stairs. Keeping the one in the center, that's important, but yeah, so behind each of these stairs right here, we're going to grab a stripped oak log. And in the Aeroteam pack here, this is a half white wool, half black texture, like this. And this will be perfect for what we need here for the wheels. So, what we're going to be doing for this is placing this right here on top of the black wool from the previous layer here to finish off the wheels, but not in its normal vertical orientation like this. As you can see, that'll leave the black wool on the top half. We want it on the bottom half, keeping the white on the top half. So, for this, in the Aeroteam pack here, there are two different horizontal orientations for the log, and one of them is an upside-down orientation like this. You can see that pretty well here, so as you can see, this is the one that's aligned perpendicular to the tug for me. Of course, that'll depend on which way you're building this, but just give that a check and see. So, that's the orientation we want there, for the black wool to be on the bottom half there, and as you can see, that'll give us a perfect 1.5 by 1.5 wheel right there. Now, if you are in default again and don't have access to that tool, what you can do is potentially use black wool here in the center in place of that white wool, keeping the acacia sign there, and then using a wool top slab in its place there. Kind of the same trick as we did down there, but oriented like this to give kind of the same little peek into the coloration for the wheel, but this is a much nicer solution to use, and it also then allows us to keep the white wool texture for the tug in there to kind of preserve the coloration all the way through. So that's what we're using here, and yeah, that's just a workaround you can use otherwise. So, now that we have that figured out, going back from both of these stripped oak logs here, we're going to have, stripped oak logs, we're going to have 3 blocks of wool going back here, 1, 2, and 3, like this, 1, 2, and 3, and then repeating the same pattern here. So, one of these out to either side right there to finish off the wheel design. Now right here in the center, what we're going to be doing is grabbing a quartz pillar and placing this aligned horizontally right here, as you can see. This will be for the grill fins at the back of the truck right here, for the exhaust for the engine that's situated in the back right here of the tug. So, once we have that, just grab your birch trapdoors again and close those against either side, like so. That will finish off layer 2. Alright, so for layer 3 here, the very last thing we're going to be doing for the GT-1628 is first dropping a lever facing backwards on top of this center block of wool right there, a white carpet behind, a stone button aligned parallel with the tug, and then 2 birch trapdoors going back right there, or again, iron trapdoors in default. And then along either side here, just 5 black carpets going back, just like this. And that will finish off the GT-1628 pushback tug. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to be covering for this tutorial is showing you how to connect this tug up to an aircraft for pushback. So I've quickly hopped over to our Birmingham world here. You may recognize that scene from one of our other thumbnails. But, yeah, I've just thrown down a Q400 here, just in a blank livery from our previous Q400 tutorial, just as an accurate representation of the type of aircraft that would be being pushed back by this, though Birmingham probably wouldn't be using a tug like this. Still, just for fun. So, yeah, so I also have one engine running here, as it would be starting up during pushback, but yeah, little details. So, as you did see at the start of the tutorial, you should have the 7 blocks of space here between the nose wheel of the aircraft and the very front of the tug right here, not including that button. So, to connect this up now, what we're going to be doing is, let's see, I'll just start from the nose wheel of the aircraft here. So, first thing we're going to be doing is grabbing birch fence gates and placing 3 of these going forwards from the nose wheel right there. Now in front of this here, we're going to have a black wool full block for the wheel of the towbar. Out to either side, a jungle button for the rims, and a yellow carpet on top. And then 3 more birch fences going forwards here. 1, 2, and 3. You'll be knocking out that birch button there at the front, that's perfectly fine. That's the connection point where the Towbar connects up and latches into the tug itself. And that is everything there is to it for the Towbar. So that is how you connect this up to an aircraft. You now have a complete pushback scene, and the GT-1628 is done. So, congratulations on completing the Stewart Stevenson GT-1628. Thank you so much for choosing an Aeroteam design. We hope that you enjoyed building it, and we hope that you enjoy having it as a part of whatever project you're using this for. Do feel free to use this in any kind of publicly available project you like, given that you of course provide proper credit to the Aeroteam for these designs. You cannot use our builds without giving us due credit. So, if you have built this pushback tug, let us know. We'd love to see how you're using our designs. Tag us on Twitter at AeroteamMC, or share it with us on our Discord server. If you enjoyed, please do consider subscribing to the Aeroteam channel to be the first to see our new aircraft or vehicles like this when they come out. Anyways, that is just about it. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.